Agoyo, and this is our first episode of Rise and Thrive, Indigenous Art, Culture, and Joyful Acts of Resistance. And I'm very excited to be here today on Ursula Media to bring a special guest to you. I have with me here Kimberly Tilsen-Brave Heart, who is with us from Rapid City, South Dakota. Right? Am I right?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm from
We're navigating this new medium, and we're excited to have a great conversation with you today. Kim is, I've known Kim for a long time, but we've never actually met in person. We work together and we see each other's lives on social media. Kim is an incredible business person, an entrepreneur, a mom and a wife, and has a beautiful family. So I'd like to really jump in and talk first about your business etiquette catering company and how that came to be, because I know you've had this vision for a long time, and then we'll move into other things. But I'd love for you to expand on our company.
So I have loved cooking since I was a young girl. I was raised just by my dad and with my brothers, and so I learned to cook fairly young. And I've always loved it, and I've always loved making things really beautiful and learning new recipes and techniques. And when I met my husband, we were kind of looking for like a commonality, and cooking really was it for us. We both were just really learning together. And we've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed building recipes, and we really try to just elevate common food. I mean, like just regular food, but in a really beautiful way that's very easy and attainable for most people. And about 2 years ago, well, gosh, it's coming up on 3 years now. I know we had our baby, and about a month after she was born, my husband was working on an engineer job site. And literally within seconds, he was almost killed by a runaway dump truck. And I mean, like literally, I think it was like less than an inch, he would have been killed.
Oh my goodness.
And it was terrifying, like really traumatic. That night, he ended up having 2 grand mal seizures. And they don't know quite what happened. He was not hit, but they're thinking trauma, the exhaustion of having the new baby, a lot of different things. But our life literally stopped as we knew it. As you said, I'm a business entrepreneur. I travel all over the country working with tribes and native small businesses. And so my business was helping other people work on their businesses. And my business wasn't really local here in Rapid City. It was a majority of it was traveling, and our life literally stopped. He could no longer be an engineer tech. He couldn't go to school or even work out because of the heavy medication they had him on, and the testing he went through so much testing to try to figure it out. They were looking for brain aneurysms, cancer, tumors.
So scary. And you have 2 kids you have 3 now.
Yeah,
right,
and a brand new baby. I mean, like she was literally a month old.
Unbelievable.
And my whole world was like, like blew up. And I was mostly concerned about my husband and his health and his well-being.
Yeah.
But we couldn't travel, so because he couldn't be left alone, because they were worried that more would come, because he had 2 they call them they're grand mal seizures, but like they last more than 5 minutes, like really intense. So they were concerned about his well-being and his health. And I just tried to figure it out. I worked with my clients and doing very similar things on Zoom and other things, but it was just very hard, and challenging. And I felt like I was also like losing my husband. To be honest, like he just was not the same person. He's a jokester. He teases all the time. He's very shy, but he's hilarious. Everyone who knows him that is close to him is like, that's what's so great about him, is he's so kind and funny. And I just felt like I was losing him. Like he was just slipping away from me because of the medication and really depressed. And so I sat with him one day and I just said, when you think about your life, like what makes you happy and what brings you joy? And, you know, for whatever reason, this has happened to us, and it gives us an opportunity in this like forced pause to rethink our lives. And why don't we take advantage of it? And he said, I love cooking with you. I love being with my kids. I don't really know what else, you know. He's like, I love singing. He's a singer. He's an award-winning power singer. He travels all over with his buddies, but even that had to halt too. And I just said, what if we opened a food business? And he was like, what? He was like, you have really lost your mind. I think the stress has gotten to you. And I was like, no, think about it. Like everybody wants our food, because everybody did, you know, like for our community gatherings and ceremonies and stuff, people.
Yeah, your food, it's just gorgeous. I mean,
Thank you.
it makes complete sense.
Thank you. And so people would ask us all the time, oh, if you're coming, can you bring this or this, you know? And so we would. And so we were already used to cooking for lots and lots of people for these gatherings. And I said, what if we open a catering business? Because then we can kind of navigate your health and your well-being of getting better and stronger. And also our kids, like our kids can be with us more and more a part of our business. Because that was the other thing, is like, I, as a mom, and you know too, it's so hard kind of finding that balance of like wanting to be driven and wanting to find that drive of your own identity and entrepreneurship, but then also really like you're a mother all the time, whether you're in someone else's community or not. And it had been tugging on me for a while, especially since I had my baby. And he was like, okay, let's do it. And so I wrote a business plan, which I've written.
You know how to do, because that's what you're doing for everybody else.
Right, which I think now I'm over 300 business plans I've written.
Amazing.
And I think about 250 have been funded. So pretty good track record. And some micro business plans, but some very large as well for tribes too. And I wrote it and I submitted it to a couple of my friends just to like evaluate.
Yeah.
And one of my friends came back and was like, I'm your funder.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, what? And she's amazing. She's literally a huge part of our lives in general. And she just said, you know, she's a businesswoman. She's a philanthropist, and I was not intending for her to fund me. But she said, I believe in you and I believe in your family. And I think that you've written a really well thoughtful, a mission-driven, value-based business plan, and I want to be a part of it. And so we started Etiquette. We literally started really tiny, you know, just doing a couple of small events, and then eventually opening our own beautiful storefront, which is a private dining room and private commercial kitchen that Brandon built out completely with him and his friend. I mean, everything. It's gorgeous. And
it's gorgeous. Anybody who's listening, you should get on their website and Instagram and look at these photos. These photos, you can just get lost in them. It's beautiful. Yeah.
And it was just like you know, I really wanted our space to feel like an extension of my home. And so when people walked in, they could smell, you know, this sensory experience, smell the delicious food, be welcomed by me into this very intimate and small space. And it's beautiful, it's simple. And I'm really still, even with all this, I'm still really proud of it because we totally put our heart into it. Yeah. And we started doing bigger and bigger events, weddings. I mean, we've hosted Oakley sunglasses. We've hosted all different kinds of humongous businesses. And every single time people say, you know, you could be in LA or in New York City, your food is phenomenal and gorgeous. And, you know, our mission is not just for us, but also to highlight and showcase the amazing producers and farmers that are right here in South Dakota. Because a lot of times, believe it or not, we have a lot of cattle here and buffalo and pork and chicken, but it gets shipped off. And we need to take some of that back with some of our smaller farmers. And so we work with our friends at Homegrown Pork and Poultry, who are pork and chicken, and they're meat is phenomenal. In all transparency, my family owns Tonka Bar, which is a national native owned and operated protein bar. So we also are very big into buffalo. We helped with the recipe development of that buffalo, of that product, and kind of know what the development process is. And so we started learning more and more about like, how do we use traditional ingredients and enhance them with modern technology. And so one of the things we're known for is our slow roasted buffalo, because many people don't know how to cook it because it doesn't have very much fat in it, right? So people overcook it or whatever. And so we decided to inject it with duck fat.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what it does is like, it is this melty, delicious, I mean, it's phenomenal. And we have done it in all different ways, with truffle mac and cheese, with boba.
And I'm under quarantine. Making the weirdest concoctions. This sounds amazing.
And it's so good. And what I love about it is when people try it, like their face, they're just like, like, this is amazing.
I can imagine.
I've never tasted something like this. It's so good. I even had a friend who I haven't seen in like 6 months was like, every day I've been dreaming about that dang buffalo. And we love it. I mean, for him and I, everyone's like, aren't you worried because you're married and you're going to be working together? And honestly, it's so nice because it's this way of like expressing our love with each other. And believe it or not, like, we don't talk very much when we work together. We just kind of have this like dance almost, we check in with each other, but it's more like he knows what he's supposed to do, I know what I'm supposed to do, and we kind of meet up for a second and kind of go back into it. So it's not like we're on top of each other, but we enjoy it. I mean, I still enjoy it. He's shy, I'm not, so he always pushes me out to talk to the customers and stuff, and our kids love it. I mean, they're the worst, or not worst, but they're the most intense food critics ever. And now that we're cooking 3 meals a day because of this quarantine, is like,
they have very high standards. I see. I mean, and rightfully so. Like, you make gorgeous food at home, so they know what they're talking about. Yeah. Well, can you tell us about how everything shifted? I remember touching base with you a few weeks ago when everything kind of just blew up, and we were kind of in the same boat, that everything that we had been working towards so hard just crumbled.
Literally, like, honestly, it makes me cry.
Yeah, me too.
And you're creative, and you're building something that you've been working on for years, and that's how it felt for us, is that we've been building, and we were really looking forward to our spring and summer. We're booked solid. We were booked solid for March, for April, for May, June, July. I mean, all the way till December,
right.
Literally. And it started for us on March 1st. I literally started getting calls, and mainly people who are coming here to do events were like, because of everything going on, and we didn't really feel it yet. We didn't really feel the intense of what was happening, really, like on a national scale. But I could tell from like my customers who were intended to come here were like, it's not safe, we have to cancel our event. And I was like, whoa, and it just started happening. And then we did one final very gorgeous event, and there was something about it when I did that dinner that it felt very final to me. And I have no idea why. Like, I literally, and I had events like that Friday, but there was something, literally, I remember even like washing the dishes, and I felt like it's gonna be a long time since I come back into my kitchen. I don't want to cry, but like, I felt that. And we actually came back the next day, and we literally cleaned top to bottom. We sanitized the entire thing. We even vacuumed our ceiling. And I told my husband, I said, I have this sense of like impending doom. And he was like, It's going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. And we had an event that was scheduled that Friday. They canceled. Literally, when we were leaving the kitchen, they were like, "I'm sorry, we have to cancel."
Prepared. You had all the food.
Yes. We had food prepared. We had already purchased the food, already had been delivered, and we ended up giving it to a homeless shelter here. But it was like, okay, this is real. And all the events, like literally that by that Friday, everything for March had been canceled. Everything for April had been canceled the following week. This past Monday, we started getting all of our cancellations for May.
Mm-hmm.
May is gone for us. There's no events scheduled. We have 1 or 2 events holding on in June, but they are likely going to cancel. And most of them are moving to 2021. And for us, it's a loss of income of anywhere between 70 and 100,000. And it was going to be our best year yet. And my projections, this is where it's the hard balance of like my old life and what I am currently. And, when you open a physical thing, like you do a physical festival, when you do that, you have overhead costs and you have other things. It's so different from being a freelancer or a consultant. I have a computer and a phone and, some equipment, but like very basic things that I've probably paid for outright. When you have a kitchen, you have loan payments, you have, rent and utilities and insurance and,
Please.
and my summer people who have been planning to work for us for the weddings and stuff, like I have nothing for them right now. And it feels terrible.
Right.
It's this thing too, is like, I really believe that every single person has medicine, like they have a certain gift that they give to the world. And for me, I really feel like my food is part of my medicine that I give to the world. And to not be able to share it with people has been hard, more hard than I imagined it was going to be, and painful. But we're shifting.
Right. I was just going to ask you, I've seen you go from, oh my gosh, this is like devastating, to doing this gorgeous cooking show with your daughter online and motivating to work in the community. And so can you talk about more about how, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm
hard. Talk about how you're making that shift and how do you compartmentalize, like how do you say, I know because we're all on this kind of roller coaster and at any given moment we're still processing because everything's happening so quickly.
Yeah.
Then to move into like, okay, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to do this fabulous show with my daughter and it's gorgeous and the food's amazing and I'm posting recipes and helping people and going out into community and helping people. Meanwhile, all in the back of your head is like, how do I pick this business up? So talk more about that.
It's been a challenge for us. I mean, in all transparency's sake, in January, our baby was diagnosed with a very, very rare disease and was hospitalized and nearly died. And so that for us starting 2020 was like already this really turmoil, traumatic experience. And I mean, for all transparency's sake, it had put me in a different emotional state than me, I'm like overly positive and people get annoyed by it because I'm like, we can get through anything. But for 2020, I was like, man, I never felt like this before. And because of this unknown, scary virus, my baby is severely autoimmune suppressed. And so I was like, we have to be very, very conscious. And how do we do that if we continue to try to stay open? And how do we do that if we do takeout? Because we're not a restaurant. We're not set up for it. We don't have the even physical equipment, like the supplies to do it. Like restaurants, they have takeout stuff.
Right.
We bring huge chafing dishes and charcuterie spreads and all this stuff that are for mass amounts of people, not for an individual consumption. And so even for me, thinking through that process was really, really challenging. And honestly, I'm going to just, I put it away. I literally had to give myself some grace and grieve.
Mhm.
and also just show up for my kids in a way that like was really being present for them. And because it's not easy for our kids either. I mean, this has been really emotionally exhausting for them and for us, so we have to like deal with our own emotional garbage of grief and humility. And then also their emotional, like helping them stay through it and stay consistent. And so for 2 weeks I was just like, I'm just a mom. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to help people. I'm not going to figure out what's the next big thing for etiquette. And when I started just cooking for my kids again, I started to fall back in love with that.
Mhm.
And Paloma and I cook together every day.
Really
Yeah,
wonderful.
every day, and she's really into it. Like it's really a passion for her. She wants to be uh a chef and a food critic for the New York Times. She literally is in her room on a goal sheet, and she
She
has
will be. She will
yeah,
be.
she has an incredible palate. I mean, she's 8 and she's so sophisticated. Like literally the other day we were testing hot sauces and she could tell the difference of like if a hot sauce was smoked, if it, like, I mean, just incredible. And it's also one of those things that like helps us balance like the normalcy of like our life. Like we do this anyway, so let's just do it. And one of my friends was like, you two are so cute together. Why don't you just like do a cooking show? It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just do it on your phone or whatever. And it gives people a break to break up the monotony of Netflix or, watching the news. And you are too like so delightful. Like just do it.
Mhm.
And so I talked to her about it and she's like, oh my God, I've been this. Like, I want to do it. Let's do it. I am excited. She already wants like her own YouTube channel, like she's like, maybe it should just be cooking with Paloma. Like
Okay, I got this.
right. And you've seen her. I mean, she's very confident on camera too. She enjoys it.
Yeah.
And people like text us, they're like, oh my gosh, I loved what you did. It's so cute. And this is stuff. So what I do is like, people are like, how do you come up with it? I'm like, well, that's stuff I'm actually making for dinner.
Right. Perfect.
So
Right.
like, it's not like I'm wasting food or anything. Like I'm actually making those things for dinner to feed my family.
Right.
And like our bone broth will last us a month, and so I try to do bone broth at least twice a week.
Mhm.
And people were like, you did chicken feet your first cooking class like that? Crazy. But it was like literally what we were making. And so we're not like, I'm not super thoughtful about our cooking classes, to be honest. Like it's just like, oh well, we're making this, do you want to do a video? And if she's up for it, we'll do it. If she's not, we just won't. It's hard to like for her balancing all of the schoolwork, and she's super super social. She is an extreme extrovert. And
Mhm.
so it has been emotionally taxing for her to not be around people. And so she does, with my friend Sarah, she does like art classes once a week with her. Our friend Molina, who I think who's a very famous beater, Molina Parker, she's going to do a beating class with Paloma. So a lot of our friends are like reaching out and are like, I'll do, whatever I can. My Aunt Barb, she's going to do a music class with them. Her friend Linda is going to do a drive-by concert. Yeah. Yeah. So her name is Linda Boyle. She's amazing. She's really, really good friends with my Aunt Barb. My Aunt Barb Tilsen is a beautiful singer that is gorgeous. Like you can look her up on iTunes and everything, Apple Music. But they're best friends. And Linda lives here, and Linda said, if you want me to drive by, I can do a drive-by concert and sing for the kids. And she even sent us like masks and stuff so that we can print them off and color them. And so I know. So we've just been trying to think of like fun, creative things. We live in Black Hills.
Yeah.
And because of the baby literally has not left since March 1st.
Mhm.
She hasn't left, but the older two have gone out hiking and stuff with either myself, my dad, or Brandon. But we have protocol even for coming back into the house. They have to, get completely all sanitized.
Right.
And our son Peyton has been doing good too. He's going to help cook for Easter dinner, and he wants to do a cooking class.
Oh, great. Because Peyton's done some commercials. And
Yes, commercials. He's done some movies. He was an extra on. It's on Amazon right now. Hunters.
oh, I'm
with
not
with Al Pacino. I
so
don't know.
proud of it with the.
Yeah, but he's done commercial work, and he's not shy either, and he's actually interested more into like the directing and filming production side. And so one of our other friends is like, well, I'm willing to work with him and figure out, even he can do videos from his own phone and stuff. So he's really into it. He actually is studying videography at school.
Wow.
But that has had to transition as well because of, everything.
Well, he could be your videographer, your
Yeah.
for director.
Yeah, he did it the other day. He was like adjusting the light, and
Oh my gosh, that's fabulous.
it was really cute. We're trying to get Brandon on camera. I don't think that's gonna happen, but we'll see. And then through that, one of our really good friends, Sunny Red Bear, who we work together quite a bit. Sunny was organizing these packages, these like gorgeous packages for Native Indigenous elders in our Rapid City community. And a lot of people don't realize this, that Rapid City has nearly 30% population of Native people, but we don't have like a support system here. We don't have like an Indian center that you have like even in the big cities. And I grew up in Minneapolis, and so I was always used to having this like communal, doesn't matter what tribe you were from, right? But you all participated. Right, exactly. And then even for stuff like this, like right now, Brian Yazzie and Sasha Brown in Minneapolis are working together to feed elders. But like there is not really a communal space here to do that.
Okay.
Or someone really in charge. Sunny's like, let's just do it. So Sunny and Nikki Bostar both organized with Able, and they have been organizing it. And so she reached out to me and she said, and I asked her too, like, how can I contribute, or how can I help? And she's like, why don't we use your wholesale account? And I was like, that's a great idea. So I literally went through and found all the best deals where we could mass purchase things for way less. As you know, going to stores right now is insane.
Yes, right.
You can't find things like simple things like flour,
I know.
And right now that's what the elders are asking for, is like flour, like really basic things, that they can help take care of themselves.
So you're bringing grocery items?
Yes.
Okay.
And some cleaning items too.
So with flour, if you're getting it in bulk, are you breaking it? That's what you're doing.
Yes, we're breaking it down. Yeah, we're breaking it down individually. And Sunny said she needs a couple of more physical volunteers to help do it. One of the issues is that because Pia, our baby, is autoimmune suppressed, I can't physically go because I need to be with her. But we're doing whatever we can to get her donations and connections. We've also gotten a couple of corporate sponsorships and also donations of sanitizer and soap. I think it's going to be delivered this week. Yep, and we're not just doing it for Rapid City, but Etiquette is also doing it for Pine Ridge as well. And we're working with one of my very good friends, Helene Gaddy. And are you frozen?
Yeah, I see you now. We're good.
Okay.
Now you're frozen.
Am I frozen? Is it okay?
Okay. Yeah, it's back on.
Okay. And so Helene is
organizing. You're a little frozen, but I can still hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay.
We're having a bit of technical internet. I have 6 people in the house using internet. So.
Yeah. I told everyone in my house, nobody on the internet right now.
Okay.
So we're working with Helene Gaddy on Pine Ridge, on my home reservation, my husband's home reservation of Pine Ridge, to do the same as well. But there are other people. There's a whole task force that we're working on. because there's nearly 4,000 Indigenous elders on Pine Ridge that are definitely in need of food, of cleaning supplies, of sanitary stuff. Partly the issue that people are asking is like, why is the need so great? Is that our food banks who normally donate to Pine Ridge are completely taxed. You know, so they would have maybe 70 families a week, have gone up to like 900 families.
But are they still actively working on getting food and they're still working on it? They're just over.
Yes. And right now, Pine Ridge is on complete lockdown. No one is allowed to come onto the reservation or leave the reservation. And so all food distribution from us or anyone else has completely stopped for the next 72 hours.
Oh, really? So it's not like there can be a transfer at the entry point. Nothing.
No.
Oh my goodness. So will it only be 72 hours, or that is just?
I really hope so. I really hope so, because there is only one major grocery store in Pine Ridge, and you know there is a lot of people there. There's nearly, I think, 27,000 people, and there's only one grocery store, and it's not like a grocery store that you would go to even in Philly, or it's a very small grocery store. And so it's not enough resources to even if people have the money, the financial resources. So I'm really hoping it's only 72 hours. We have our first confirmed case on the reservation, and people are really scared. And so, you know, everyone is trying to do what is the right thing to do, but not really knowing how to navigate. As you know, like, we're all trying to figure this out together. And figure out what the right thing to do is. Yeah. And for us, I just want, because I think we're so connected to like the food situation, is that it breaks my heart to know that people are hungry or need food and don't have it or don't have access to it. And so that's something that, and it's funny because my dad actually brought me a book of my poems from when I was 10 years old. And it has always been something that I care about, you know, he literally showed our daughter it. And every single poem was like, I don't want there to be any starving children in the world. And I really realized like that is something instinctually inside of me. Like, I just want people fed. And however means we can make that happen. And I think that right now it's a time where we can think beyond ourselves, even if we're stuck at home, you know, like what can you do? Like even what you're doing is helpful to people, is like showing people that, you know, we're Native and we're resilient and we're going to get through this together, but separately, and figuring out what makes sense, right?
How we can help each other.
Right. How do we help each other? I mean, I started not indigenous, but a women's entrepreneurial community on Facebook, and we just share resources. We share each other's support. And people say, this is what I'm trying to do to navigate this and shift. You know, one of the things that we've done is we've also started selling T-shirts and grocery bags, and they've actually sold really, really well. And it does help us.
How can people get online and see what you've designed?
If you go to our Facebook page or our Instagram, Etiquette Catering Co., you'll have a link to any of our product so that you can purchase it. But it does really help. Like, we sold enough to cover rent and utilities, and so like those things really do help us. You know,
they're adorable T-shirts.
Oh, thank you. And most food businesses don't have a ton of liquidity. You know, they're not like a huge corporation. Like, liquidity is, you know, usually about 15 days or smaller. I know a lot of other food businesses that are running on a 5-day margin, which is tight, you know, so being closed for however long, you know, you have to get really, really creative.
Getting back to Pine Ridge being closed, do you think, is there a way for people to, I'm just trying to think about how can people help? Can Amazon deliveries get through? How does that work? And then,
Amazon deliveries can still be delivered because
is there a place that people can make donations through Amazon or any other food delivery?
Yes, there is. Let me look her information up. I'm pretty sure, hold on just a second.
And then while you're doing that, I'm also curious as to when the restriction lifts, how can people, because you said you have corporate sponsors and you're having people donate hand sanitizer and supplies and food, how can people partner up with you to make
Sure. If people are interested in partnering with Etiquette, they can, again, send us a direct message on either our Facebook or our Instagram or info@etiquettecateringco.com and say that you're interested in donating. We will connect you for sure, or you can ship us product, or you can ship Helene or Sunny product that will get delivered to the elders. The elders, the thing that people don't quite understand is why we're focusing on elders is they are the cultural keepers of our indigenous communities. They are our oral historians. They are our cultural bearers, and we need to honor them and respect them and take care of them, because if this were to spread in indigenous communities, which we're seeing at a terrifying, alarming rate because of our Pine Ridge has the lowest life expectancy in the Western Hemisphere except for Haiti. We have 40% are diabetic, so high risk population completely, and it could be cultural devastation if we lose our elders. And so this is why we're focusing on them. Like, this is why it's so important, is that this is not just some sort of vanity thing like, oh, we're doing this. It's like critical and very crucial. Helene's organization is called Native, hold on, sorry. I'm gonna find it. She has the last.
Well, we can put it up online afterwards yeah, but
Okay.
I think it'd be great because I know that there are a lot of people who want to help but don't know exactly how. And so
Yep.
we can put up all this information afterwards.
And for Sunny too, you can donate directly to the American Indigenous business leaders.
Okay.
And you can donate to their PayPal. It's on, again, their Facebook, and I'll send you the link, but that donation will directly go to Sunny in order for her to purchase more goods as well. And she's not only doing Pine, yeah, she's not just doing Pine Ridge. She's doing, Rapid City. She's doing Takini as well, which is a very remote community on the Cheyenne River Reservation. And they're doing really well. And I think that it's important, if people are willing to donate or contribute, that this is a good cause to do so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So are you getting sleep?
I am, believe it or not. The first couple of weeks were rough because I felt like I didn't know what day.
Right.
I'm considered an overly productive person, and I was like, what do I do? and my son teases me about being Marie Kondo, and so I'm organizing, and I'm like, okay, I've organized the books, and now I'm this, and I am an organizer. I have always been, and so I enjoy doing it. I mean, you see it on my personal Instagram, is like, I love doing that stuff. And so it helps me get sleep too, believe it or not. Like, when I do feel like there is a spiritual aspect of,
I agree. Yeah.
of organizing and cleaning and with intention. And so it's helping. Yeah. Are you getting sleep?
No. I was doing really well. I used to not sleep very well, and then we had a crazy summer, and then I moved into this house, and I was sleeping really well. It's probably made up, but it seems like one of those things, like I was sleeping well, we're moving into a new house, work is going really well, and then why could I have had 2 more months? But it's just it's once you pick yourself up, you just think, okay, this is an opportunity to shift. All those things were great and they're not there anymore. How can we move forward in this new world? And yeah, it's an interesting time. But no, I'm not sleeping well, but that's okay. At least I don't have to rush everybody off in the morning. They have school at home, it has its challenges, but it's really nice also just not to be on that strict schedule.
Yeah, I agree.
There are some really nice things about it. If we, I mean, obviously it's a very hard time and scary time, but like you're saying, just to be mindful and present and appreciate the things that we do have. Yeah, I feel very grateful.
I do too. I mean, I think that, like I said, for the first 2 weeks, I felt like I really was like in a deep cycle of grief.
Mm-hmm.
Of just like I've created and built this thing that I've like devoted my heart and devotion to. And for it to just be like, poof, it's gone. Cause that's what it feels like. I mean, people are like, it's not gone, it's hibernating. And I'm like, okay, but
Yeah.
it really,
They're actually gone. Like that thing happened that you were dreaming of, that you
right,
manifested, and they're gone.
right. Exactly. Like I'm
Business isn't gone, but there are actually events that are gone.
like literally like gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like I spent a lot of that time feeling sorry for myself, to be honest, and it
For
was
what? Like a week? I mean, that's not a lot of time. For you, it is. Like,
like it,
30 minutes. I need to stop.
and I felt like this like sloth, like I'm never gonna be productive again. And and then I realized like I am so lucky. I am so blessed. I have a beautiful home. My
Mhm.
children are healthy.
Right.
My husband is doing great. He's healthy. We've gone through so much hardship that
Mhm.
like we will survive and we will get through this, and it's going to look different. I know it will. When people are and starts to release, I'm hoping tons of people want to have parties, but I
Right.
think that it's going to be on a smaller scale. I really do. I think that people are going to be more conscious of like what looks different and how are things going to change, and it will change for us, but I'm open to it and I'm open to new ideas. And I think that also that every single person deserves some grace.
Mhm.
Just being really gracious to each other and saying, I'm having a hard day. It's okay, because a lot of people are like, you're fine, you're safe, you're healthy, you have food,
Oh,
and
that's
I'm
not
like,
fair.
right,
No.
it's not fair. And just really being able to show up for each other, just like I think felt like you and I, like we don't know each other in person, but we follow each other's families and our struggles and our triumphs and our successes. And I'm like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think just really checking on each other in an authentic way of saying, I actually care how you're doing and I want to know that you're okay. And if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. And coming up again with like innovative ideas, because sometimes like when especially entrepreneurs, I think that when we struggle we tend to come inward. And this is a time where like every entrepreneur we know is struggling, so let's think about like opening up and thinking about like different ways, because I may have an idea about your business, you may have ideas about my business, and being open to it. And I also think,
Mhm.
not to get into boring things, but the SBA financing and loan
Mhm.
is not a save all for us.
Mhm.
And I think we're seeing that. Like the need is much greater than the actual money and
Yeah.
the actual process. And the process is not indigenous friendly.
Well, can you expand on that?
Sure. There's a couple of different loan options that you can go to. And there's one, the payroll, I can't remember the exact name.
Protection. It's called payroll
Yeah,
protection.
payroll protection loan, where you as payroll, you can get, up to 2 months of payroll.
For your employees. Right. Mhm.
Okay, most native small businesses are owned by who? One or two people, and they are usually related.
Mhm.
And they are usually taking an owner's draw and
Right.
and not on salary.
Right.
And that's, I'm just being honest, because that's how I did it too. Is like, most people, that's how they survive.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of employees. Like we have seasonal employees, but they don't start until June.
Mhm.
This doesn't help us right now,
Right. Exactly.
and then they take this sort of average, and you have to go through a financial screening sort of, and you know like I said, for us 2020 started out rough
Yeah.
because of my daughter's medical situation, and so that doesn't equate to a loan for us, and it may I mean, I'm just being honest, is like, I don't know that very many native businesses will qualify
Mhm.
in order to get that. There is another loan product that takes only about 5 minutes to go get through, but we applied almost 4 weeks ago
Mhm.
and have heard
Not,
zero.
yeah, we've applied for a few not loans, but emergency grants, and have not heard, not even like, thank you for applying. Or not, I mean, I guess they're all inundated and everybody's trying to help. But at the end of the day, if you get 200,000 grant applications, how are you going to sift through
Well,
those?
that's what I mean is the need is much greater than the actual income. And people say, "Oh, how can I help you?" And I'm like, money. I'm like, if you're really if you're really interested in helping native businesses,
Yeah,
donate money to them.
yeah.
Like not, like literally right now. Like do
Mhm,
gift cards or donations for festivals or,
mhm.
like do it now when the need is to survive to get us to that
It's
point.
to
You
get,
and or promotion, like promote our businesses and all indigenous artists right now. I mean, especially with the closure of Indian market, a lot of people are in panic mode about like what happens to my future, right? And so buy native art. There's a lot of artists out there who have t-shirts for sale, who have art for sale, who have beadwork for sale. And right now is the time, if you have the income, like, if you have the ability to.
if you have a steady job and you have
Right,
income and you have your retirement in place,
exactly.
probably not great right now, but we'll bounce back.
Right.
And
Yes.
yeah, there are ways to contribute. There are
Right.
so many ways to contribute and get beautiful
Abs-
things.
Absolutely. And for entrepreneurs, if you see a loan or you see a grant, apply for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling people this.
That's
Like
really
a
good.
lot of entrepreneurs are like, "Oh, I don't know if it." I'm like,
Just
apply.
apply. Mm-hmm.
Just apply.
Yeah,
Take some time and just apply because you have no idea what could come through.
great.
And right now, it's the opportunity to be creative, and to really open up. And like I said, a couple of years ago, we went through a forced pause, and it budded this beautiful new business. And now we're all in this collective forced pause.
Great.
And so think about your life and think about your work and your home life and how are we going to evolve out of this? You're a working mom and you're always with your kids, and I'm always with our kids too. And I have to say I feel really lucky to be
Yeah,
able to do that. I feel really blessed. But there's things that I miss. I'm sure you miss them too. I mean, there's parts about being an entrepreneur where I miss being alone a little bit.
mhm.
I miss being in my kitchen by myself.
Yeah,
Um, and but there's things that I think that we just have an opportunity right now.
right. I agree with that. I do miss being able to work like 3 hours straight on and just feel like I accomplished something in the day. And now I just everything's so scattered. Things are getting done, but they're not. Um, I don't feel that closure about it. But just like you said, I'm giving myself grace. Like the other day I was getting very frustrated, and I just had to reset and say, I'm not, I'm not going to be stressed about work at all in this whole time. I won't because there's no point. And then it really, the kids feel it. It's not worth it.
Right.
The work will get done.
Yep.
Everything will sort itself out. So yeah, it's an interesting learning experience, but I do miss going to like a coffee shop and just like
Yeah.
sitting around on my phone or reading a book or all those little things. But I do value being able to be around my kids now and when school is back in session. I mean, the fact that our kids are so much a part of our lives and our work is really that's something I think I like it, and
I
I know
know.
I like it
I
too.
agree too. I feel like there was parts about it that were easier for us probably, because they were already very much a part of our businesses.
Right,
And,
exactly.
and so I definitely felt like, oh, well, that's good. I'm really glad. Because if I was only doing
Yeah.
consulting work, I'm like, I have no idea how I would be able to be that productive right now.
Hmm.
I'm still taking on consulting work and I'm excited to try to, get into some innovative and exciting projects. But yeah, it is not, I mean, it's this balance of figuring out like, okay, and right now our kids are on spring break.
Oh, okay. We had that last week.
Right. And it is really nice. I have to tell you where I'm not like, "All right, we got to do this. We got to, we got to get this done. We got to get this done." And
Right.
originally we were supposed to be in Seattle this week to doing like talking circuit and cooking demo circuit and having the kids, be on vacation too. And they wish they were there, but I'm so glad that we, canceled and postponed or whatever. But we just got to get through it. I mean, we're just going to get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have about 7 minutes left. So as we wrap up, I'd really like to ask again how people can help you, whether it's buying gift cards. Um, what are ways people can help Etiquette and your company, and then help community that you haven't, that you, if you can expand on it, that you haven't already mentioned.
I think that, like, believe it or not, even watching our cooking shows is really helpful.
Okay.
Um,
So, I mean, that's so worth it. What are they? 20? They're not, how long are they?
Not long, 15, 20 minutes. Like, we try
Yeah.
not to go any longer than that.
And I wanted to say that, sorry, go ahead. I'll say
No,
that.
you go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to say that you were saying, well, it's what we make for dinner and it's not really thought out. Although you have more technical skill and everything's so beautiful than most of us. So it is thought out, but it's just natural for you. Because my cooking show will look way different, I'm telling you. But it's just inviting us into your space, and it's warm and you're with your daughter, and it's even if you're not a cook, or it feels nice to be able to connect with you in that way. So I encourage everybody to get on Instagram and go to Etiquette Tailinh Co. It's Etiquette Tailinh Co. is the handle. Yeah, because it's just beautiful. All your photos are beautiful. Your food is beautiful. It just feels like it's so nourishing. And so I encourage everybody, please go check it out.
Yeah. So like I said, that actually really does help us because it with the algorithm, if you watch our videos, more people are prone to see them.
Yeah.
If you share them, that really helps. Even sharing our social media is helpful. Buying, if they want to buy product from us, you can, we have eco-friendly t-shirts and shopping bags, and price ranges. Even you could get even a simple coffee cup, and those actually really do help our business.
And what are they saying? What are this?
They're all different sayings. One of them says, I'm not going to say, but I have two mottos that I believe in. I think that no matter what, even if you're in the deepest, darkest depression ever, that you should get up and make your bed. Even if you get back.
You're always saying that. Yep.
Always say that.
Yep.
And I really do think it helps. I mean, I teach that to my kids too, is that even if nothing goes right in your day, you have made your bed, and making your bed is not about like the tidiness of it, because that's what people think, because I'm like an organized freak, but it's not. What it is it's about the value of you valuing yourself to create a sanctuary of that, like, at least no matter what, I have a safe space that I can go back to if I need to take a nap, if I need to rest, if I even want to bring my laptop and do some work. At least I have one orderly space. Right. And so that's my theory. And I've been like that since I was little, is that even if my room was a mess, my bed was made. Because I think that it's about really like honoring yourself. And teaching that to our children is really important. I also have this phrase that is make it happen. And I say it all the time. And right now, it's not the time to make it happen. Right now, it's the time.
Make it happen, but rest and go easy on yourself.
And a lot of people are saying, I feel so exhausted.
Yeah.
And I think that as Indigenous people too, we feel this like communal, empathetic exhaustion. Yeah. And that means that your body, even you might be like so exhausted that like you can't rest. Yeah. And so figuring out what are things that I can do that help me recuperate. And again, I love that like simple thing of making your bed. And so you can buy some of the shirts. Some of them have a little bit of swear words. We're
Shut
and
up.
to say etiquette. My husband is actually putting up a couple of new men's shirts today. Most of them have been focused on women, but we're putting up some sweatshirts and other things like that. Um, yeah, I mean those are really helpful to us. We're also launching tomorrow our etiquette YouTube channel.
Oh, fabulous. Good.
Yeah,
That's
and
a,
so
it's a,
again, sharing those things, liking them, giving positive comments. Just to let you know, like my little girl asked me to read her comments, so give her encouragement and words of support because she loves it, and so that's helpful too. And I just encourage people like to cook. I do think that cooking intentionally is like a healing thing, and your family feels it, and I know it's hard to cook not outside of a box, but like even making a salad or making a soup, and those things help nourish you and nourish your soul.
thank you. Kim, I want to thank you so much for jumping on here. And this is uncharted territory, our first ever show in our home studios. I really want to thank you for being brave with me today. And
Sure.
oh, before we go, talk about your Stella real quick.
Oh, sure.
Great.
So
I watch you on your Stella.
So I am also a national ambassador for Stella and Dot, and so I sell really beautiful bags, clothes, jewelry, all different kinds, sunglasses, all different kinds of things. And it's what's so cool is that I'm in their catalog and
Yes.
advertising, and so you can also shop with us, and it's really really easy. It's just stellaanddot.com/KTBH, and that's my website. And I get paid every week, and those commissions really do help support my family. And it's a really fun experience, and income still comes in because people still want to shop. They want to, even if it's yeah, I mean, even if it's a simple thing and it's really high quality stuff, we also guarantee the quality of it. So if there's anything were to break, they would send you a new one or refund your money. So the quality is exceptional, and I really enjoy it. This is a Stella and Dot piece, and I'm wearing Legend, which is a Stella and Dot piece.
Earrings.
And my earrings are not Stella and Dot.
Right.
They're a native artist, and I cannot remember her name right now, which I feel so terrible, but
Gorgeous.
and I love wearing Argentilium.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so, you can support us. You can support Stella and Dot. You can also support Native artists. I really encourage you to support Native artists, especially in this time. But thank you for thinking of me and for including me in this. I think it's really fun, and it's fun to see you like this.
It's so great to talk to you.
Yeah. So I wish you the best as well.
What did you say?
I wish you the best as well. I know that things
Oh,
are
thank you. Thank you. No, it's going to be okay. It's nice to have community, and yeah, I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing the work that you're doing. You're always an inspiration. So I know you have to get on with your day, and I have to get on with my day. So, and everybody who's listening, thank you for tuning in to Usala Media. Rise and Thrive will be on Thursday. Actually, the show will repeat on Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we'll be on next Thursday from 11 to 12 p.m., where we'll have Pauline Farlow will be on with the author and publisher of I Will Carry You.
I love that book.
It's a great book, isn't it beautiful?
It's so beautiful. We literally read it almost every day.
That's so good to hear.
Our little girls love that book. I mean, it's so sweet and so beautiful. If you have not bought it, you definitely should buy it. I mean, it's, as a parent, I love the book so much, and my girls love it.
That's so good. Okay, well, so we're wrapping up. Share our podcast. And this is actually on YouTube also. So check us out on YouTube and share the show. And everybody know what we're up to. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, I said thank you. How is the sound quality?